Hello, Rebels of the Sherpa Revolution. Normally, I start off this podcast by saying hi, but I'm going to start this one off by saying hydration. We know how important hydration is for our bodies. It's the thing that keeps us running, right? You want to be a well-oiled machine. You want to be running efficiently. You know what can help you run efficiently? Liquid IV. It is the category-winning hydration brand fueling your well-being, and their hydration multiplier is the one product that you are missing in your daily routine. It comes in a little stick that's a powder, and in just one stick, you get 5 essential vitamins and 2 times faster hydration than water alone. If you use it first thing in the morning, maybe before a workout, when you feel run down, maybe after a long night out and doing a little partying, you know what I mean? And even, what if you have like a long flight or something like that and you just bleh, right? We all feel that way, bleh. So add this to your water, and that convenient packaging can go with you anywhere you go, even if you're going to the gym or you're traveling or you're at work and maybe you didn't have a great breakfast. At least it's something that will fuel you up in the morning. And there's a whole bunch of flavors that are available, like sea berry, strawberry lemonade, Concord grape, lemon lime, pina colada, tropical punch, watermelon, strawberry, passion fruit, guava, acai berry. Did I say that right? I never know how to say that. But those are just some of the flavors. Here's some statistics for you folks. 1 stick of liquid IV in 16 ounces of water contains 5 essential vitamins: B3, B5, B6, B12, and even vitamin C. And we all know how important those B vitamins are. It's got 3 times the electrolytes of traditional sports drinks. It's made with premium ingredients. It's non-GMO, and it is free from gluten, dairy, and soy. I'm going to offer you a great deal, Rebels. If you go to liquidiv.com and use offer code Sherpa, you can get 20% off of anything that you order on that site when you're shopping for some better hydration. So that's Liquid IV. Check it out at liquidiv.com. Podcast that you're listening to is being presented to you in cooperation with the SJ Network. If you're a person who'd like to appear on a podcast, contact Stephen Joyner at s-j-network.com. Let's get on with the show.
Today, on The Sherpa Screening Room, it's an interview with Zach Arnold, host of the YouTube channel, The Incredible Impression.
You know, the Sherpa is an incredible impressionist. Sometimes, he can actually sound like he knows what he's doing.
Coming to you from Sherpa Chalet in beautiful downtown Mount Podcastia, it's time for entertainment interviews in the Sherpa Screening Room. Grab an aisle seat and a bucket of popcorn, but don't crunch too loud or you'll miss the show. Now, here's your host, Jim, the Podcast Sherpa.
Hello there, Rebels. Welcome to the Sherpa Screening Room. It is a presentation of Too Many Podcasts, which is the podcast about podcasts. Naturally, we didn't know that. Well, welcome aboard anyway. You're listening to me, Jim the Podcast Sherpa, and I've got a guest today whose name is Zach Arnold, and he has a YouTube channel, and it is called The Incredible Impression. You'll find out why he calls it that in just a second, but I appreciate you listening to me, whether on your favorite podcast app or through Sherpalution.com. So we had a little time to sit down with Zach and get to know him, and now here's your chance to get to know him as well. So without any further ado, the creator of the YouTube channel, The Incredible Impression, this is my talk with Zach Arnold. Hello there, Rebels. We are here in the travel room of the Sherpa Chalet. Jim, the Podcast Sherpa here, speaking with Zach Arnold, and he is the host of the YouTube travel blog, The Incredible Impression. He's coming to us from, where are you coming to us from, Zach?
Right now, I'm in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, but I actually live in Ocklawaha, Florida, which is historic for the old Ma Barker crime gang.
Is that where the Pennsylvania Dutch live, I believe?
Yeah, here in Lancaster. Yeah, old Amish country. I've seen quite a few horse and buggies since I've been here. It's hard to get around traffic. It's hard to drive when you're trying to get around those people. But I love them. They're so awesome. They're the most kindest people you will ever meet.
Yeah, I guess, and their cell phones have that little rotary dial on it too.
Yeah. They don't use a steering wheel. They use, reins.
So welcome to the show, Zach.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it, Jim.
You said the Incredible Impression is really just you going to different spots, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a tourism thing. Sometimes it's just like a feel good spot.
Oh yeah, as I said, it can be anything from just seeing how beautiful the lake looks in the sunset. If I see a nice bird in the tree or something. But yesterday I did a whole 3-part vlog on Washington D.C. and the day before I did one on my hometown of Palmyra, Pennsylvania, just my old stomping grounds, and also a little bit of forgotten Hollywood history. John Travolta and Lisa Kudrow, the movie Lucky Numbers. Also starred Ed O'Neill from Married with Children and Modern Family. So a lot of nice history there.
So what other places have you traveled around to, in addition to like your home and all that?
Well, I actually was in Spartanburg, South Carolina recently because I was hanging out with actor Eddie Deason and my PR, Stephen Joyner. And while I was there, I drove about 10 minutes away to Roebuck, South Carolina, because I'm a huge fan of the original Unsolved Mysteries show with Robert Stack. Like, to me, that's the only Unsolved Mysteries there ever was and ever will be. There was a lady in Roebuck that was tragically murdered back in 1995. And so I went there and I documented the filming locations that Unsolved Mysteries went to, and tried to line up some of the shots that they did, and went to the cemetery to see where this young lady was interred. And I documented it all on film. You can find it on my channel.
So what other kind of stuff can folks find on your YouTube channel?
Well, they can also find several voice impressions that I do. I'm a big fan of the legendary impersonator comedian Rich Little. And first time I ever saw him was in the year 2000. It was like literally right after George W. Bush took office. And he was doing a play called The Presidents, where he did every single president in costume and voice with supporting actors on stage, all the presidents from John F. Kennedy to George W. Bush. And he did all these guys he had less than 2 minutes to make up from one president to another. And I can remember sitting there thinking to myself, I'd like to be able to accomplish that, to do all these voices of famous people. And so the very first person I ever impersonated actually was Ringo Starr in a Beatles tribute band. And I was in 2 tribute bands, actually. I was in one from Ohio called Abbey Road. They're a more or less known tribute band, but they were pretty big back in the 80s and the 90s. Then I was in a band from Pittsburgh called Beatlemania The Invasion. And that lasted from about 2007 to 2010. And then I went and moved to Florida in 2013. And just this past summer, I was supposed to go back into the tribute industry, but things didn't quite go to plan, and that plan kind of got scrubbed right now. So, but I'm still doing impressions. I'm still doing the YouTube channel, and I'm looking to hopefully maybe get into the voice acting industry. I took an acting class down in Orlando as well, which was really great.
So when you were doing the Beatle tribute thing, what is the tribute industry like? Is it very competitive, or it's just kind of like, well, we all like the same thing and we're just all paying tribute to it?
It is. People might think it is extremely hostile and competitive, but I'm going to tell you that is far from the truth. Far from the truth. Everyone who is in the Beatlemania industry, the tribute band industry, they don't look at if you're auditioning for something that somebody else gets, or that you get over somebody else. They don't look at you and say, "Hey, man, you took this from me. Don't talk to me anymore." No, they actually all message you on Facebook. They call you. They say, "Hey, I heard you got the part. Great job. Hope everything goes well. Keep in touch." I mean, it's just one big gigantic family with them, and it's literally one of the greatest things you can ever be in. I mean, who in their life has a chance to be a Beatle for a little bit? I mean, we're talking the greatest band in history.
Did you have to wear like the mop top and everything while you were playing the drums?
Oh yes. I mean, there were times we do shows in the middle of summer in the blistering heat outdoors, and putting on a wool suit and long pants and having a wig and stuff and having to draw on a mustache and sideburns. By the end of the first act, by the end of the early Beatles segment, which is maybe 30 minutes long, already your sideburns are starting to melt off your face.
You're like Rudy Giuliani at a press conference.
Yeah. or Jimmy Swaggart,
Did you do like the voice of Ringo when you were in the show?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that is a must. You must do the voice. And I will say I did perform with some Beatle tribute guys that, I would hear them talking or singing, and I'd just think to myself, I'd be back there on the kit drumming away, and I'd just think, they're not getting it. They don't have that accent.
Mm-hmm.
So then when we were backstage, I'd point it out to them, and I'd say, hey, try doing this, tweak this just a little bit, and bring a little bit of that Liverpoolian drawl into it. And they'd be like, well, what do you mean like this? And yeah, exactly. That's exactly like it. And they said they don't forget how to do the voice. It's just, they're so absorbed. Because when you're on stage, you're feeding off the crowd.
Right.
You're not entertaining each other, but you're feeding off what the audience is bringing into you. And we would have some shows where the audience would just be like, I don't know about this. And so the other guys, I'm OCD, so I always make sure I stay in character.
Mm-hmm.
But the other guys are like, well, if the audience isn't really feeling it, you're not feeling it. So then, they just start to lose interest a bit, which, I say, you can lose interest, but stay in character.
Right.
Come on.
Especially if you're putting on a show for somebody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I'll be a little punchline here, a little joke. 95% of those people of those venues never called back.
So could you do a little bit of Ringo?
A little bit of Ringo Starr. Yeah. I want to tell you, everyone right now, do not send any more fan mail to any address. I'm warning you with peace and love, but I have too much to do. I'm on tour right now. I have no time for bull crap. Something like that.
What inspired you to do all of the videos that you do on your YouTube channel?
I'm gonna give the credit to my favorite YouTube star that's out there, Adam the Woo. He is a vlogger from Florida. He's been all over the country. He's been from sea to shining sea, doing everything from just filming the different kind of stones or the different kind of shades of concrete on the pavement to showing you around underneath his car, to doing exciting vlogs like the Alcatraz Island and filming locations. He did several filming locations. As a matter of fact, he did the entire filming locations of the movie Vacation, the original National Lampoon's film, and he just did another one recently about Cousin Eddie's house in Colorado, and he got it on the vlog when the guy actually came up and chased him off of the property and told him he was going to have him prosecuted for it. And I thought, man, this is entertaining. So that's where I got my influence. And I will say my wife and my two kids, they are so supportive of me, and they're always asking me, hey, what'd you do today? What was the vlog like? Was it fun? And I say, well, yeah, but I wish you guys could have been there. So, but I do most of my vlogs on my own, but I do get the support from my wife, my kids, and my parents, and I got to give them all great credit for it.
Did you run into any situations yourself where somebody was trying to chase you off the property?
No, I didn't do that because but the one I did in Palmyra, actually, in the movie Lucky Numbers, there's a part where John Travolta is being foreclosed from his current home, which the exterior of the home was actually a huge red brick mansion up on the hill above Palmyra. And so I drove up to that mansion. I parked in front of the big double doors, and I went and I rang the Ring camera bell. Because when I go to do a vlog, I make no bones about the fact that I'm going to go in there and do it. So if it's private property or something, I'm always going to go and find out where the office is, or find someone that might know the property and know what's going on, and ask them, hey, may I take some pictures here? But this time around, the person was not home. So I just took a quick picture and skedaddled because I was like, I definitely don't want anyone seeing me on a Ring camera or whatever and calling the police. But Palmyra is a cool town, they're not gonna look down on you for that. So I mean, it's a quiet, peaceful town, and I do miss it to a certain extent, but really deep down in heart right now, I'm a Floridian, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
So you said when you met John Travolta on the set of the movie, I was wondering, did you do John Travolta impression when you were talking to him?
No, I did not. I didn't even know how to do impressions at the time. That was way before I was able to actually ability to do impressions. But the reason that I got his attention was you got to remember, the Penn National Racecourse now is called the Hollywood Casino at Penn National Racecourse. It's a huge casino now. Back when I met him, it was still just the racetrack, but it was being renovated. I guess they were starting the process to turn it into the casino. But I was up on one of the upper areas overlooking the racetrack. And John Travolta and Lisa Kudrow went out onto the track because they were going to do a scene out there. Now, I have double jointed arms, which allows them to bend really, really far from when I stretch them out. And I always had this thing in school where I had a trademark bird wing flapping thing. And I looked like a bird with broken wings. So they told me, my friends who were there with me, they said, hey, do your bird thing out the window and see if they acknowledge. So I did it. And John Travolta turns around and looks, and he taps Lisa Kudrow on the shoulder and tells her to look. And they both look at me, and they both gave me the thumbs up. And then a couple days later, when I met him, he said, oh my gosh, yes, he remembers me. He remembers me. And John Travolta, I'm going to tell you, John Travolta is such a gentleman when you meet him. I mean, he's literally like what Jimmy Stewart would be when he was alive. John Travolta will stop and he'll talk to you. He'll ask a question or something, or he'll answer a question. I mean, I was standing there, talking to him and stuff, and his bodyguard was telling him, we got to get you upstairs. You're due on set in less than a minute. And he promptly told his assistant, his bodyguard, he said, hey, back off. I'm talking to a fan here. Back off. He said, I'll be up then. Just let me go. And so he put off his work for a couple of minutes to talk to me, which I thought was pretty strange. Hollywood actors, they have such a busy schedule, and I bet it's not easy for them. But for John Travolta, it was almost like it was second nature to him.
Yeah.
And I thought that was like the greatest moment of my life.
Well, I guess, especially when you have actors like that who've had such lengthy careers, and, if they get a true impression, a true appreciation of, their fans that really put them there on the map, I guess some of them, they don't want to forget that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Eddie, for example, Eddie Deason, I mean, I never even really looked at, I mean, I've been a fan of his for many, many years. But when I met him for the first time a couple months ago, I didn't even look at him as a star. I treat him just like he's my best friend. I treat him like a best friend would. And I don't even give a second thought as to, wow, I grew up watching this guy, he's an actor and all that. And, no, to me, he's my best friend. That's what he is to me. And that's how I look at it.
Okay. So do you have any dream locations that you want to take your vlog to?
I would actually love to be able to vlog in England, to the Beatles areas in England. Now, I did take the Beatles pilgrimage tour, and I got to sing live on the stage of the Cavern Club with my late uncle, who is sadly no longer here. he's the one who brought me up on Beatles. And so I went and crossed Abbey Road. I went to the Cavern Club. I went to Paul McCartney's house and stuff. So England would definitely be a place I would love to vlog. Here in the United States, I still have yet to vlog the scene in Dallas where John F. Kennedy was sadly murdered at, and Dealey Plaza. And I would also like to visit. I'd love to take my wife to Las Vegas for the first time. And I mean, I've been there 5 times with my parents, but I've never been there with my wife, and I'd love to take her with me. So definitely be doing vlogging there. Really want to vlog Mount Rushmore as well. And a lot of one other site I'd like to document is one that not a lot of YouTubers vlog. Actually, it's the site of the old Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City. I've only seen one YouTube vlogger that ever vlogged that. So I'd like to be able to do that.
If people want to check out some of your videos and your impressions, where do they got to go?
They got to go to YouTube, type in The Incredible Impression, or you can just go to URL youtube.com/@the and The Incredible Impression. So that's youtube.com/@The Incredible Impression. And they can find me on there. I have an email linked up to the YouTube channel. So anybody can email me at any time, and give me support. Let me know what they want to see. And because a lot of YouTubers nowadays, they don't take suggestions from people. So I figured the best way for me to, fulfill my viewers, desires is to take requests from them. And you can also find some of my impressions that I do on there. I actually got a request from a gentleman right before I left Florida to come up on this trip here. Got an email from a guy that noticed my impression of Ed Wynn. You might remember him, Jim, the Mad Hatter on the original Alice in Wonderland.
Sure.
And he had his own show, Ed Wynn. I do a pretty mean impression of him. And this guy saw and heard the impression and actually reached out to me and said, could I ask you to recreate a song from a TV show, but do it as Ed Wynn? And I said, well, absolutely. I'd be delighted to. So that's a project I'm going to be working on when I get back home. So, you can find me on there. Also, you can also request me to do impressions of people. I mean, there's a whole arsenal of people that I do, but, you can still request anything and I can work on it. I can't promise I'll get it down, but I will try.
Okay. All right. So to lead us out of here, why don't you pick an impression and we'll just wrap it up.
Well, look, this is Jimmy Stewart, and I just like to say that it's been a wonderful opportunity to be on Sherpolution this evening, and I hope that y'all will follow me on YouTube.
All right, there you have it. Zach Arnold, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much, Jim. Appreciate it.
Be a rebel. Follow the show at Sherpolution on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
A very special thanks to Zach Arnold of The Incredible Impression for coming on the show. And he's on YouTube, and so am I, if you needed to know that. You just have to look for my tag at Sherpolution 5000, which will take you to the Sherpolution YouTube page. I think even if you type in Sherpolution, it'll bring you there. And it's got a lot of the favorite interviews on there. And no video, just audio. You're welcome. Trust me, it's safer that way. And I will be here with you next week, presuming I don't get struck by lightning or anything like that. Oh, it's getting a little cloudy out there. So I better wrap this up. Lord, Mr. Bruce, I think it's time to duck and cover and wait for the next episode. And remind everybody, if you like the show, if you can, please leave a nice review on Apple Podcasts. And you, yes, you could possibly be entered to win podcast merchandise. Yay! Okay, I was the only one who was cheering. So that means we need more people to review. You there, the one with holding the coffee. All right, you're holding coffee, so now you have to leave a review. There, it's that simple. There, we changed the rules. I like that. Okay, we're out of here, folks. See you next time. Viva la Sherpolution.
Thanks for listening to the Sherpa Screening Room. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, review, and share this podcast. I'm Mr. Bruce, and this has been a Sherpaloo Studios production. Viva la Sherpolution.
You know, Rebels, if you've been checking out some of my promotional ads on social media, you'll be aware that I have been using a lot of AI programs to help me create ads. But you know what? There's a lot more uses for AI than just funny little videos. And I'd like to introduce one of our new sponsors, Podium. It is a leader in creating AI tools for podcasters. Now, let's say you've got a podcast, or maybe you're even thinking of doing a podcast. You're probably wondering, well, how can AI be integrated with your workflow? I'll tell you about Podium. As a podcaster, you know that writing show notes and creating chapters and transcribing episodes takes a lot of time, and it can cost you a lot of money too. But you know what? That's where Podium comes in. It's an AI tool designed specifically for creators and podcasters with the goal of making post-production tasks quick and easy. And in just a few minutes, Podium generates show notes, chapters, summaries, clips for social media, a full transcript, suggested episode titles, social media posts, and more. Whew, that's a lot of work for one little program. Your show notes are key to your podcast's success because it helps new listeners find your podcast and they'll know if it's a fit for them. You know, kind of like too many podcasts. It also improves your SEO. That's your search engine optimization. Ooh, big phrase there. And overall accessibility. And with Podium, you can focus on creating a great podcast and let Podium's AI do the heavy lifting. But Podium isn't just for solo creators and podcasters. It's a game changer for editors, producers, marketers, agencies, and production studios. Teams that use Podiums are able to increase workloads, decrease turnaround times, and improve their quality. How does it work? Very easy. First, go to Podium's website, and you'll see that link that's right there in the show notes. You get 3 hours free just to try it. Pretty cool, huh? And using that link also supports this show as well. And you know what else happens? Because I'm a good guy. You use my link, you will get 50% off for your first month. So visit the site, upload an MP3 file, and download your files, and that's it. And if you need anything else, you can use Podium GPT to generate articles and any marketing copy you might need in seconds. Instant show notes, transcripts, chapters for your podcast or channel. This will level up that podcast. So check out Podium today.
I'm Jimmy Stewart's granddaughter, and you'll be hearing from my attorney.
Ow.